everybody and afternoon. Welcome back. Happy 4th of July. This is the Wet Shavers Roundtable number 2. So thank you guys for all being here on this 4th of July. We have a very special guest today. This guy needs no introduction, but if you don't know who he is, he takes about 2 hours to do an unboxing on video. We've got Busta.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks to have you aboard. Also, we've got the Truth Gonzalez, So Sharp Limited. What's up, David?
Hey, how's it going, Rico, and everybody watching? Thank you for joining us, and I'm actually happy that you guys had me back.
Well, happy 4th to you. We also have a military man in the house. Thank you, sir, for your service, and we appreciate what it is you do for us. And, again, no introduction, Marty Pape.
Happy Independence Day, everybody.
Hey, welcome. We also have Shave the Man himself, Con Kazazidis. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, how's it going, Rico?
I'm really well, folks. Happy 4th of July, happy Independence Day. It's great to be a part of this. I really feel great that we can celebrate this all the other side of the world.
Well, we're glad to have you. Thank you so much. He is our guy who is manning Twitter. And, again, no introduction, but he is our captain, the one, the only, Douglas Smythe.
Hey! I felt like Dr. Evil or something like that in this chair. Happy Independence Day, folks. Happy 4th of July. And happy second edition of the Wet Shavers Roundtable.
Really good to be here.
Yeah, and it's great to have Busta with us. You know, honestly, it's really funny, Rico, because you wished everyone a happy or a good morning and a good afternoon. But to most people, I think on the East Coast, it's like 8:30, 7:30, or 8:30. Right?
So good evening as well.
Yeah, get ready for those fireworks, folks.
How this is going to go today, guys? We are gonna go through some facts. But before we do that, if you guys want to get in on asking us questions, go to Twitter and at WS Roundtable to ask us questions. Also, if you are on live feed right now on G+, go down to, I believe, just go to the YouTube link, subscribe to our channel, and it should have something that says something to the effect of, you want to be a part of the conversation. Click yes. It will open up another box, and we should be able to see your questions over here. Hopefully we'll see your questions coming in, and we'll get to those as well. So quickly, we got some facts here, Founding Fathers facts. I just wanted to read a quote by Benjamin Franklin. He said, "Human felicity is produced not so much by great pieces of good fortune that seldom happen as by little advantages that occur every day. Thus, if you teach a poor young man to shave himself and keep his razor in order, you may contribute more to the happiness of his life than in giving him 1,000 guineas. The money may be soon spent, the regret only remaining of having foolishly consumed it. But in the other case, he escapes the frequent vexation of waiting for barbers and their sometimes dirty fingers, offensive breath, and dull razors. He shaves when it's most convenient to him and enjoys the daily pleasures of its being done with good instrument," which is a pretty awesome quote.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's what this day is all about. And, you know, I just want to say something to the people out there, is stop blurring holidays, folks. I was just sharing it with these guys earlier. I was in a shopping mart earlier, and I heard a little kid describing Veterans Day to his mom. He was talking about today, and she wasn't paying attention, and they're just trying to make their way through the line. And he clearly described Veterans Day. And a lot of people they're blurring holidays more and more. The older I get, the more I notice this. It's like, this is Independence Day. We broke away from England. This is 1776, people. This is the 4th of July. This isn't the other holidays. Granted, I mean, thank a vet every day you can. Thank a single parent every day you can. Thank a teacher that's helped you. Thank you anyone that's gotten you, made your life a better thing. All of our lives. But today is about individualism. It's about free thinkers. Those are the people you want to thank today, because those are the people that got us here. They thought, they looked at the world, saw something different, what they could do with it, and they made it happen. It was free thinkers that did that. Give a free thinker a hug. But I do want to make a big deal out of that, though. Is like, know your holidays, folks. This was a kid. You know, he should be learning this in school. He should be knowing about the founding fathers. I mean, they're on our like, so I'm sorry to cut you off, Rico, but I just want to say, you know, these guys were way ahead of their time back then and did some great things for all of us, and none of us would be sitting here under these flags if it wasn't for them. And then everyone else after them that came along after them. But it was their ideas that made this place what it was. And that was a big sacrifice. I mean, they were committing treason back then, all for this new idea, this new concept they had. It wasn't blind patriotism. If it was blind patriotism, they'd be still rallying around the crown of the queen or the king. They were committing treason for this brand new way of thinking, this brand new design. It's the free thinkers. It's Benjamin Franklin. It takes 100 George Washingtons to make one Benjamin Franklin. You know, I mean, these guys, these brilliant folks that founded this country. So I just want to make that clear.
And speaking of guys ahead of their time, if you guys know what was going on at that time around 1776, most guys had beards and they were transitioning to, if you look at all the founding fathers, shaving, being clean shaven. So we got people like John Winthrop, Captain John Smythe, Champlain, Cartier, Hawkins. All these guys had beards, but the 18th century, due to the part of the influence of the Puritans, the beard was out and the wig was in. So, little quick pop quiz for you guys. Who was the first president to not have a beard? Or to have a beard, I guess.
Adams.
Anybody else?
I have no idea.
No
Quite
idea?
honestly, I haven't the foggiest idea about that.
All right, here we are. Just a little pop quiz for you guys. The majority of men who have held office as the president were clean-shaven, including the founding fathers. Not a single founding father had any facial hair, which is pretty interesting. John Quincy Adams was the first U.S. president to have a notable facial hair, which was sideburns.
Oh.
So you're partly right. But the first major departure from the tradition was Abraham Lincoln.
I was going to guess that.
And I thought that was pretty awesome.
And,
And
honestly though, was that was a chin beard.
yeah, but it was a beard. It was a beard. There was no mustache, but that was a beard.
There's nothing wrong with chin beards.
Yeah, some of us can only grow chin beards, okay?
No. What you have, David, is a goatee, I believe. I can't. Put it on David. Blow up David for me.
That's a chin toupee.
A chin toupee.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
a goatee, my friend, like a goat.
So what was really cool, I came across,
It's bad.
and I don't know if you guys can see this, and I'll try to put a link to this after the video is fully loaded on YouTube. But this was George Washington's shaving gear, and he had what was really interesting. He had like a shaving case, and then he had this razor that looked like a commissary, which I thought was pretty awesome. And he carried that with him all the time. He had some hones, he had a comb.
Now, how the hell did you find this information?
eBay.
I spent a long time looking this up. So, but let's get into some highlights of products this week. We will start with Busta. What is some products that you are using that you think are that you want to highlight or tell us about?
Or your 4th of July shave of the day.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I did not shave today. I did my video yesterday, and if I shave too many days in a row, it's over.
Kick him off.
I know, right?
Yeah. It used to be about the shaving, my friend.
I know. The product that I'm most excited about is my new synthetic brush, the satin tip, the white one. I had the black one for, I don't know, 2 weeks now. Actually, I think I had it longer because I had it in Chicago. And it's a great brush, but this white one is like totally off the hook. It's super soft, has more backbone than the Poisson, and I don't know, man. It's quickly becoming my favorite brush.
Nice. David, how about you today?
Today, I think like almost everybody else, I made sure to use Fine American Blend. Has the nice red, white, and blue label and stuff. And that's pretty much it. Oh, and I used the Shave the Man brush, which is blue and white. I just kind of had to affiliate those colors as much as I could.
Oh, yeah. Marty, what do you got?
For me, it's I'm going to spotlight pre and post shave kind of stuff real quick.
Alrighty.
I got the sample of the Crown King prickly pear jelly. It's a
Nice.
mentholated jelly. I've been using that a lot this last week. Also in my pre-shave, which to me I did a video on it today, Dr. Squatch soaps in the shower, on my face before in the shower. To me, that's something a lot of guys neglect. And then I've been using a lot of menthol. I've been doing the Integrity Bomb by Soap Crane. I just got this in, and I've been using it pretty much all week, almost every shave.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, we hear tons of good stuff about Soap Commander's balms. Con, any products you want to highlight this week?
Yes, Cold River Soapworks Vetiver Moderne aftershave, which is sensational. Really, really good face feel on this. It lasts. It smells terrific. I love it. The St James of London, in particular, cedarwood and clary sage, which is an exceptional product. And I used this as the aftershave, just the cologne. Put it straight on, and it works a charm. It's very, very good. And I will be looking at Dr. Selby at some stage.
Nice.
I got some of this Dr. Selby stuff, which is really nice stuff.
Very
I have
cool.
some
Kind of old
Dr.
world
Selby
charm,
stuff, and
you know.
that is actually legitimate. That's some legitimate stuff right there.
Yeah. Well, I'll show you guys my stuff real quick, and then we'll. Douglas has some.
Tell us about your stuff. Tell us about your stuff, Ricky.
Well, I wanted to show you. I tried to pick some all American-made products, and we got the Gillette Red Tip, of course. I just got this. I don't remember what year. It's like 1961 or something. Really great razor. Digging it. Also, Nathan Clark. This was my custom coffee bean
nice.
brush.
Very nice.
Silver tip. It smells like coffee. I love this thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then I wanted to highlight two soaps, and I couldn't pick between the two. I have it's not how to.
I like them both.
Phoenix Arts and Accoutrements. We've got Dapper Docs,
Somebody's
which is
getting paid off here. I don't know what anybody
no,
says.
he's not getting paid. I'm not
Brian's
getting
going
paid
on.
for anything. But I love this stuff. This is one of my favorite soaps. It just has a wonderful scent, and I love it. And it's got the classic, the cowboy. This was the Wild West. This was it. This was the thing.
That's Doc Holiday.
And then we got CAD, and this one really needs no reasoning behind
Kind of
it.
surreal at this point, isn't it, guys?
It is surreal, but this one is just pure American attitude right here. Kind of giving it to the man, which I love. And then this isn't shaving related, but I'm drinking Manhattan Special, which is an espresso soda, which is awesome, and it's made in Brooklyn. So I dig it. Douglas,
Okay.
anything? What do you got?
Well, I did a 4th of July shave today, and I tried to keep it thematic with the whole thing. So, of course, I used Dreadnought. Those of you who have tried Dreadnought. Marty, have you tried Dreadnought?
I have. Can I take a smell of it real quick?
Oh, yeah, hold on. Well, I'll give it to you with the lid on, okay?
Okay. Nice, fresh, and clean kind of smell. I like it. Here, let me send it back your way.
Okay, thanks. Anyways, this stuff is great, and I can't say enough good things about Dreadnought. So I figured, Con, were you saying something?
I was going to say, you guys should get an act in Vegas or something. You illusionists, you illusionists.
So this is the British soap, the UK soap. So that was thematic with the shave. But before that, what I did and what I used as a pre-shave was classic Burma shave.
Nice.
I don't know if you guys have ever tried the vintage stuff, but the scent is still there and everything. But this stuff is magical. If you ever get a chance on see this on eBay or anything like that, pick up a tube of this. And so it's real slick. You rub it on with your fingers, much like a pre-shave, and then you build lather on top over it with, I chose Dreadnought, as I mentioned, and really slick shave and a great post-shave feel. And then to finish it off, and I lathered it in my Old Spice mug. Thought that was fitting. I get all the colors there. I was going to use...
Looks familiar. That mug looks familiar. You didn't pick that up in Pasadena, did you?
Actually, I did. Con was there for that. But I was going to use this one. This is actually a vintage shaving mug from the Civil War.
Wow.
It was a gift to me, and the person that gifted it to me didn't think it really was. They were like, "No, this is probably made in the metals class." But the guy told me, it's Civil War, and it turns out it actually is from the Civil War. These guys were carrying these back then.
Wow.
But it's just a pain in the butt to really use, knowing what we know now. And then to finish it off, I used some vintage Aqua Velva and blue. So I figured started with the Brits, went to Burma, ended in the States, and that was my 4th of July shave.
Nice.
But what I want to do before we move on really quick is someone was recently asking in the forum today, about 5 minutes ago or 25 minutes ago, how to use one of these atomizers. And so they were asking if it would fit on a fine bottle. There's no way this would fit on a fine bottle. This is for a 400 milliliter Parasso or Vloyd bottle. And if for comparison, this is like the size of a fine bottle.
Oh, wow.
Which is my bottle, and this is Vloyd. So how you would use this is really simple. You would just unscrew this and screw this part on the top of it. And it's simple as that. You drop the tube down in there, and voila, you have an atomizer. So that's how you use that. Super simple, folks. Don't overthink it. But yeah, so that's a Vloyd or a Parasso atomizer.
Nice.
Okay, moving on.
Well, this is the part where we are going to answer your guys' questions. And again, like I said, if you are watching this live on YouTube, there should be a link saying something to the effect of to be part of the conversation. Click here, click that button, and you should be able to have another screen, and you can ask us questions there. We've already got one over there. Also, if you are on Twitter, you can tweet to us at WS Roundtable, and we will read those questions off. If there's somebody specific on Twitter that you want to ask a question to, put hashtag and Con or Douglas or Busta or whoever it is you want to ask the question to. So, Con, what do we got over on Twitter?
Okay, we've got a few tweets that have started to come in. Remember, our Twitter handle is at WS Roundtable. That's at WS Roundtable. And the first question that comes to us from Shaving Station is: have any of you been fortunate enough to try the Fine Angel airbrush? If so, your thoughts, please.
Who wants to take this? Anybody?
I haven't used it. I try to avoid the smaller millimeter brushes. I usually like to do about a 24 and above. I haven't used it.
Anybody?
I don't have it yet. I'm planning on getting it. In fact, I'm planning on getting 2. But, yeah.
It's the shaving Noah.
These days I
also don't have it. I don't have it yet, but I'm planning on getting 4.
Oh.
Yeah, what you
Where the
got?
hell is Chris Bailey when we need him?
I've heard it's almost identical to the Plasan as far as the fibers. So that's why I haven't bought it yet.
Those are fighting words, Busta.
I've heard it.
Oh dear.
But when I get it, I'll confirm, okay?
Yeah. Well, we've got a question here from the actual live Google feed.
Yeah, I'm looking at that too. I don't
And
know
it
if I'm...
says, what soap did commercial barbers use back in the 40s and 50s when artisans did not exist? What I consider, I guess he's asking, what was the original barbershop scent?
Is it trivia though? He's asking us, or is it?
I think he's asking a serious question. That's from David Millett.
But he's saying what he considers the original barbershop scent, so it's like he knows the answer to the question.
Yeah, I don't know. What? Anybody want to take a guess, or do you have any idea, Douglas? Since you're kind of into the old.
Douglas is the
scent.
is the shave nerd, so I would imagine he may have the best chance of answering this.
Well, in the 40s and the 50s, there were a lot of shave soap companies around there. I mean, what comes to mind is Gillette. I mean, even Gillette. Gillette was making their soap for since the 20s. But Williams or Gillette. The thing is, there were artisan soaps. There were not necessarily artisan soaps. They weren't called that anyways at the time. But there were local soaps. You know, tallow is a byproduct of like the farming industry, and this is back when people were still living on and off the farms. And so tallow was everywhere. So that's what you're making your body soaps out of, and that's what you're making your shaving soaps out of. So that was, sold right off the back of the trucks, pretty much. And people were making soaps, and barbers were making soaps back then too. And apothecaries were making soaps.
Could you imagine the smell? Truckloads of tallow.
Well, that's why that's why people were big on fragrances and essential oils, because you had to hide and mask all the natural smells of the soap back then. It had more to do with that than pairing it to a cologne or an aftershave at the time. But if he's speaking of a particular one, I'm not sure. Barbershops, maybe Williams, maybe. I don't know. Is that? I'm just not sure if it's trivia or if I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't really know.
Williams will be no more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just taking a wild guess. I would think it would probably be something. I know as far as perfume goes, men's scents were real floral and stuff, so it's probably lavender and maybe citrus, bergamot. I don't know what other rose was probably big back in the day. So, Con, you have anything on that or?
No, I don't. But we've just now been inundated by questions on Twitter here.
All right.
We've got one from Christian here. He's wishing us all a happy Free Thinker Hugs Day. Okay, Independence Day. What's the future of scented shaving products? Have we hit the limit? What is the future of scented shaving products? Have we hit the limit?
No way.
And yeah, so over to you, gentlemen.
Anybody?
I'd say no. We haven't even reached the watermark yet when it comes to creating new fragrances. The thing about fragrances, essential oils, and all that, and I'm sorry, fragrance oils versus essential oils and everything else, is there's so much out there, and there's so many scent combinations and possibilities, and I'm sure there's new ones being invented every day. So, especially when you have a lot of new people coming into the fold, a lot of new artisans that some of them don't know what the hell they're doing really, and what's coming out of that is these amazing scents because they don't know what they're doing, So trial and error, I'd say we're still moving forward. Tabula Rasa has a lot of great scents. Are you familiar with their soaps?
Yeah, they got good stuff.
They have some magical stuff there, and I mean, the combinations are just coming out of I don't know where it's coming from. I mean, they're out of Berlin, so I mean, that's where they're coming from.
Well, not also to mention, Douglas, you could take the same 5 fragrance oils, and when you put them in different proportions, it's going to create a whole other scent. So
Yep.
you could use the same ingredients and create 10 different fragrances from the same ingredients.
It's like art. It's like painting. You only have so many colors in the human spectrum that we pick up, but you can keep making new art every day. I mean, it's how you're mixing and blending it.
What I like about the artisan soap makers is they're trying a lot of different stuff. And some of it's successful, some of it's not. But I think the fact that so many people are willing to try now and put stuff out, it's really kind of bringing up it's just bringing out the diversity. So much before, people were just like, oh, I use this scent, I only use a very specific brand. But now it's like to differentiate themselves, in addition to their soaps and their aftershaves, the artisans are coming out with all kinds of different scents.
Well, and there's other brands too. Like I've got coming in from, I ordered it out of Scotland, but it's through Germany, is Kalani. I've heard so much about, their soap and how they've got like an Oriental plum and all these different varieties that a lot of us Americans haven't experienced. So I'm excited to try that to see what the Euro palette, comes up with. Like they had a menthol with a wood scent, which most of our menthol we see is very sweet, and that type of stuff. So here it's a menthol with I think it's like a cedar wood. So that's kind of different than what we're used to as well.
Yeah. I think it's just like perfumes. There's an infinite amount of scents. I don't think we've hit the limit. So we got a quick comment from the shaving evangelist himself, Chris Bailey. He says, "Don't know how to get into this thing. You're on it." And also, he was.
Hold on a second. Isn't he a computer guy? That seems to be a problem right there.
Yeah. I thought he was a French teacher.
Yeah. And actually, to answer a question from Chris Bailey, to answer a question that hasn't really been asked here, but he asked it earlier, I guess we'll kind of give up the ghost on what the story is behind the mail-outs. So Chris Bailey made a video, and he always butchers French words and even just English words. We don't know why. He just does it. And Chris Cullen and I, the skipper, were making a joke that it'd be funny to send him some random stuff like a dictionary and a French to English dictionary and different stuff. And David Gonzalez is making faces at us. And then we were talking about just sending him a whole bunch of stuff. So I said, let's get a few guys together and send them some stuff. So if you guys haven't followed Chris Bailey's videos, he kept receiving English for Dummies, French to English dictionary. Douglas sent him some chamomile tea, chamomile, T. And then as far as the Tom Brim thing, do you want to answer that one, Busta?
Yeah. Chris doesn't know that I, for one day, was Tom Brim. So I bought him a French Blenders book and sent it off.
That's amazing.
I had to wear a crappy shirt and weird-looking hat, but I made it happen.
So,
That's awesome.
Chris Bailey, just so you know, we love you, man. We just did it because we care. We want to see your French and English excel. So, Con, what else we got over there?
Okay, we've got quite a few tweets that are coming through now. I'll answer the one that's directed at me from Kenny Ingram. It says, Con, what are some of your favourite summer scents in EDTs that you're wearing this year? Well, I have to say, Kenny, that it's actually the middle of winter here. So, Flash is a very good one, and Isimiyaki Summer for men. They're just new, very serene scents. They just don't work for me. Or a citrus base is something that I would gravitate towards for summer. Although, of course, you can wear them any time of the year. We could go on and on and on about this, but essentially, I'd be looking at those two, and they're reasonably inexpensive. We've got another question here from who have we got here? Mr. Atlantic City. Mark Benson says, for each of you, do you enjoy a Zen type peace and quiet shave, or do you prefer some mood music when you shave?
By mood, if you mean Guns N' Roses, yes, I do.
Gentlemen?
I actually, I guess doing videos, it's kind of weird because I try to balance my shaves where doing a video, it's kind of a hectic shave actually because you're focused on so many other things besides just shaving. But throughout the week, I really like to have it kind of quiet and just, I guess, have a Zen shave, as they say. So
I was going to say the opposite. I love being in front of the camera, so I think it gets me to the point where that is my Zen, you know? I'm just like, okay, let's do this. So
yeah.
For me, that's my Zen.
And I'd have to agree, like, when I was gone for 2 weeks and I couldn't do any videos, it felt very awkward again not having it. But when I do my head shaves, which are typically off camera, I'll either put on some kind of like a church sermon or some kind of music, something just kind of put me at ease and just relax and then just kind of focus on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So our shaves are similar, Marty, is what you're saying.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Guns N' Roses.
I'm busting out Appetite for Destruction while I'm in the shower, and I'm jumping around, and it's pretty. I walk out of there bleeding, but I enjoy every second of it.
What about you, David? Looked like you were going to say something on that.
I actually already forgot what I was gonna say, but kind of going to Busta's point right there. I actually really get into like a zone when I do videos. You know, you just get into a good flow, and it kind of relaxes me, and that's like the point of my YouTube channel itself. It's more like a vlog for me. It's not really to teach people stuff. I do end up teaching people some stuff from my technique, but it's mostly just for me to be able to like talk and just kind of just let things out in a different outlet.
Yeah. Well, we got another question here from Steve Hardy on G Plus Live, and he says, how does the old razors compare to the newer versions? Any old classic DE razor styles need to make a comeback?
Douglas is probably the best one to answer this one because he actually brings back a lot of old style heads. And you probably could correct me if I'm wrong, Douglas, but isn't it pretty much they're all pretty similar except for maybe a little bit of the geometry of the heads?
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, that's more often than not, it is the geometry. They're more clunkier and thicker now. It's a whole different process they're using to make these things. You know, it's pot metal they're using half the time, so they're going to be thicker and clunkier. With that said, I forgot to mention this in my shaves of the day. I used my Aristocrat for the shave of the day also with a vintage Gillette blade, and so that has a lot to do with it too. Is back in the day, these blades were a tad thicker than what we're using now, so even that made a difference. So if you're using a vintage razor today, you're still not necessarily achieving or having the same shape they were having back then, because the blades are different too. They're thinner. Nowadays you have thicker heads, clunkier heads, where back then they were actually thinner, especially the 3-pieces. So you could really get in there good. Like a nice Merca 1904 was thinner than they are now, and you could really get in there good with them. There's lots of classic razors that you'll notice it's thinner designs, and I prefer them, in fact. Yeah. And they're really tough to replicate because a lot of all this industry, it left or it closed down in our country. So we're relying on industries in other countries to do the jobs for us now. That never went out of business because the rest of the world kept using safety razors and 3-piece razors where we stopped. The Western world stopped and outsourced if we were going to use them. So we're relying on not necessarily shoddy craftsmanship, but just it's quicker, it's cheaper, and it's not the same quality that they had back then. And a lot of the techniques, actually, a lot of the science of the engineering behind these razors is lost. They're having trouble replicating these things. They really don't know what they were doing half the time. It's just lost. So it's all about relearning that too. And once we do, we'll springboard off of that, I think. But I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, and I also think this is obviously it's a butterfly, open door razor, and to me these are a little harder to find the angle on sometimes. And I think the open combs, the old type Gillettes and stuff, I love those razors. They're so thin, you can get into places under your nose real easy or whatever you're trying to reach, and they're just the angle's easy to find. But I find modern razors tend to be really, really easy to find the angle on for the most part. So, Con, we got anything on Twitter?
Yeah, we've got a couple of questions here. Who we got? We got Jason Rudman wishing us happy 4th. Great show. I've been following a myth on interwebs about whether blooming soap is beneficial. Thoughts? Now, I'm probably opening a can of worms here.
I don't know why this is such a big deal. It blows my mind that this is even a controversial subject. You heat up a scent, be it essential oil, be it potpourri, be it incense or a candle, and guess what? It's emitted into the air. The heat it's expanding it, the scent, and opening it up.
Because some people, because you're the one that kind of brought it a little bit more tonight with your video.
You evil person, you.
Well, there's lots of things I bring up though. I think it's funny they latch onto that one. It's that's just one of the many shaving tips I've shared with people, and that's the one I get the most grief for. And it's but it does work. I mean, if it doesn't work for you, then don't do it. But honestly, it's science, people.
So just a point of clarification here. You're not suggesting that it's beneficial in terms of the soap's performance, but you're saying you're unlocking the aromatic compounds in the soap. You're experiencing the soap in all its fullness. So nothing to do with getting a better shave per se, but one that engages all the senses.
Okay, the better shave part, there's all types of byproducts of that, but my initial thing was about blooming the scent, and in order to do that, you heat it up. And one way to do that would be pouring water on the surface of it, hot water. But there's many ways to heat up a puck of soap. You can put it in a Ziploc bag and submerge it in hot water too, just to bring it up past room temperature. People automatically think that I'm talking about just pouring hot water on your puck and walking away from it. That's one way. That's the wet way. There's dry ways of bringing up temperature too.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, it's all about releasing that first. Now, some harder pucks will benefit because they'll be softer now, and you'll be able to create a lather better and faster. I mean, so there's a lot of good stuff happening there. But the primary.
I think Tom the Shave Tank did an experiment with that, where he was putting it in all sorts. He put it in a nuclear reactor. He put it in a microwave oven. He put it in a blast furnace. He put his soap everywhere. He sat on it. He did all sorts of things. So I don't know.
Well,
we love you, Tom. I love you, Tom.
We all do, Tom.
Let me just go down the list. Con, do you bloom your soaps?
It depends on the soap.
Okay.
If it's a hard soap, it depends on how I'm feeling. Can I just go back to that Zen thing, which will answer the whole soap thing? When I first started traditional shaving, I used to take ages to shave. Then I got faster, and so it was like a curve. It went down. But then, I mean, I knew I could shave in 10 or 15 minutes. So I thought, what for? I'm enjoying this. So my shaves now have actually become longer.
Yeah.
I've gone from, it's kind of like a bathtub curve. It could be your age, Con. It could be that too, but I'm enjoying it. Listen, I'm built for comfort, not for speed, my man. I love enjoying I love enjoying the stuff. You know,
Yeah.
why should I get out of there in 10 minutes flat if I don't have to? I want to be in there for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I don't want to be. But
Douglas,
you know what I'm saying. And as for music, if I'm going to have music playing, I want it playing in the next room because I want to be able to hear that. I love it. I want audio feedback. I don't want guns and whatever.
you want to hear the razor sing.
You don't want to hear
I
Axel?
I do want to. I remember it.
Yeah. Douglas, I'm assuming you bloom your soaps, of course.
I do.
Yep.
I do. But honestly, you can use it. It's kind of like a stop bath too in photography, where you stop the picture from developing with a stop bath, then you fix it. Some soaps are scented already, over the top scented. They're super strong fragrances that I don't bloom them for too long or bloom them at all.
Yeah.
But if it's a weaker scent when I open the lid, then I bloom it.
Yeah.
So it's up to the person. It's up to the shaver. But
Marty?
I say experiment with everything. Don't just write something off because it's something you heard. Try everything.
Marty, you bloom or don't bloom?
I bloom a majority. Like a soap that I wouldn't is, say, for instance, like Katie's Bubbles, 'cause it's super soft. I could submerge the bowl into the water, like has been recommended, but I just don't want to ruin the label. So, like a super soft one, I won't.
Ziploc.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could. Yeah.
Get back to us on that next week.
Busta, bloom or not bloom?
I don't
This is
bloom.
like an awkward question.
I don't bloom. In fact, I used to bloom, but I actually like the feeling of the scent when I put it up to my face. So if I don't bloom, I really don't get the scent until I get into my face and start lathering, and it just comes on me at once. So I really like that. So I don't bloom.
Bloomsta.
The truth.
Bloom stuff.
This needs to be a T-shirt. We need a.
Yeah, we've got
I
a tweet
bloom
here
or
that
don't
says,
bloom.
Busta does not bloom, he blossoms.
Oh.
Baby Bailey.
Oh.
Well, that was awkward. That was awkward.
So the truth, you bloom or not bloom?
I actually only bloom firmer soaps. There's some artisan soaps that are extremely, extremely soft. Some said Katie's Bubbles, and also like there's a couple others that are escaping me right now. But I do bloom all hard pucks to back, Mitchell's Wool Fat, like when I use the hard puck from Tobbs. Those kind of ones I usually do for
Okay.
ease of loading.
And I might be the crazy one. I bloom everything.
You need help.
God bless
Yeah, I bloom creams. I bloom Katie's Bubbles. I bloom everything.
He was blooming before blooming was cool.
Yeah, it's
you. A lot of people were. A lot of people were. They just didn't know what it was.
it's a hipster thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
These aren't really questions. TSC's kind of being cheeky. He's blaming me for giving him the wrong time, and he also says, yeah. He also says, why does PAPE? And I didn't give you the wrong time. I don't know all the time zones. The invite should say the actual time zone, so I don't know. And then he also says, why does PAPE look like he's about to be waterboarded?
Sir? I didn't know you, sir. Oh,
I am laying.
We're getting
I'm laying
paper
in
on
my.
our own damn question board.
Yeah.
happy 4th of July.
Shut up, Bailey.
Yeah.
He's drunk.
Shut up.
I'm trying. I got the kids, so they're in the other room trying to be quiet. So
Yeah. Con, what do you guys think? Should we go just a little longer, or?
Yeah, it's 4th of July. I say
Yeah.
let's go for a little bit longer.
Okay.
The special 4th of July thing. Big Mash has got a tweet here.
All right, big man.
Remember, the Twitter handle is @WS Roundtable, @WS Roundtable, one word. It says, don't you ever wonder why in God's name we keep on buying soap? And then in capitals, it does the same thing over and over and over again.
don't judge me.
That's right.
We're looking for that magic pill.
Yeah.
Well, let's ask
Excalibur.
Busta. He's the guy that spent 5 hours opening a box of shaving gear over and over on a YouTube video, which I watched the whole thing. Why do we keep buying products?
Why do you keep watching those videos?
I don't know. It's a sickness.
I think part of the problem, at least for me, was, and it's not a problem, I guess, but when I first got into it, I really didn't buy that much. I mean, a friend of mine told me about wet shaving, and I bought just enough to do my shave. And then I got on a Facebook group, and I saw shave of the day post after shave of the day post after shave of the day post. And it becomes so
taunting.
It's taunting, yes. People post stuff, and you're like, oh, man, I should try that, or I really need to have that. And especially if you see a lot of people talk about how good it is, and I'm sure a lot of these soaps are great, but we probably bring them up to a level in our mind that's much higher than we should. But you know, needless to say, I've been buying soaps and razors and brushes ever since, and it hasn't stopped.
Yeah, my problem is, and I think all of us have done this to an extent. You say, okay, I'm not buying anything this month, and then somebody comes out with the new thing, and Douglas is notorious for doing this. He just hit the 1K mark on G Plus and then released this soap, and I was like, man, I gotta get it. So I don't know.
I feel good about myself. I didn't buy it, so
it's a Charcalis disease.
Yeah.
You will,
Gentlemen,
Busta.
I have a question for you, and it's more a thought experiment. If I could place the absolute best soap in the entire universe in your hands, in other words, it satisfied all the criteria, and again, of course, this is a hypothetical question. As I said, it's a thought experiment. Stay with me. Would you then say, okay, that's it, I found it now. I have found the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and I'll never, ever buy anything again. I can tell you right here and now, I would still buy soap. It's an illness.
Yeah.
It's an illness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it really is about. I tell myself, it's kind of like you reset the next day. You know, it's another thing to do is never tell anyone you're on a buying whatever you're buying freeze. That's like telling someone you're trying to quit you quit smoking. Don't tell people you quit smoking when you quit smoking either.
Tell Peter Charcalis that, because he tells everybody he's on a buying freeze every other week, and then he buys something the next day.
No, don't do that. Do not do that. But I don't know what it is either. But I think we're all, searching for that magic puck, and
I think with social media, there's a little bit of brotherhood. I mean, I used it, and you used it, we all used it, we feel good about it. You're like, oh, cool. Did everybody else get Le Marche de Rissage? Oh, yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, you know how it is.
well, it's a journey. You know, we're all on this quest together, and it's like we're just, it's like different levels of a video game. Maybe I don't know what it is, but it's like little rewards. I don't know. I don't know how to really define it. I'm sure psychologists. We should get a psychologist on the show.
I got one tip on that real quick though. Don't ignore the aftershaves. I did that for way too long and was buying soap after soap after soap. So I thank Tom Moore for calling it the year of the stink, because I've been buying a lot more aftershaves this year and less soaps.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with that.
So we got.
Can I just say the other thing about it is that speaking of psychology, I believe that deep within each and every one of us, we don't want to find the perfect soap. We want to go on this journey. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how boring would it be if I told you this is the best soap in the world? Once you've opened it and you've used it, you think, okay, well, fantastic.
And what do you do?
I really think we love the journey. I think we love the journey. The road trip is more fun than the destination.
And there's always something better being made. So you got to search for the next better.
It doesn't even need to be better. It just is always something new to try.
Yeah.
And again, you're right, because if we did find that perfect, we don't want to, because then what do we do? It's like, oh, Ray Pope quit the forum. He found that magic soap for him. Like, we'd be dropping off like flies, So you're right, Con.
Yeah.
So these aren't really questions again, except for one. TSC keeps asking.
Quit paying attention to
A
me.
bunch of random stuff. He said he thought you were strapped down, Marty. And he said, I don't know. I've never seen Busta do a shave of the day post. And then he asked, why is Charcalis always on vacation at all times? The panel should discuss.
Because that guy has a good life, man. That guy has a damn good life.
This is why Chris Bailey is not allowed on our show, is because this is where he's taking it.
Yeah.
Part of my contract with the show was that I wouldn't have to
answer.
answer any questions from Chris Bailey.
What's going on Twitter?
Okay, Twitter, there's a lot of love going on here. Love you all too. Love. There's kisses, there's hugs.
Oh, yeah.
We've got to see
All
Douglas
middle-aged
in.
men too.
Okay. This is from a gentleman called Tim's Insanity.
Oh yeah.
Make up your own mind,
I know.
folks.
Yeah.
Douglas, are there any new razors coming from PAA?
Am I releasing any new razors?
Yeah.
I have one in mind, and I have one in the works, and I have them both on the back burner, so to speak. I just have so much going on right now, but there is one in mind that I would like to put out probably before Christmas or after Christmas or right after Christmas. I just have a few more surprises that need to happen first.
And
Including I have a brush line coming out very soon, the Crown King brush line.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, that's where all my energy is right now. We're just two people running the business right here, so I really can't do everything at the same time, though I try.
Yeah.
And can we have Bailey on the show? That's another.
Can he ask that? Chris Bailey asked that?
Only if Leroy comes with him.
Yeah. No.
No,
Chris,
muzzle Leroy.
Yeah, just Leroy.
Just Leroy.
Well, I actually got, I don't know if Gonzo, going blind with Gonzo again. He asked a question. He asked several questions. He asked, I have a suggestion. Can we have a contest of destroying your old electric razor, maybe like most creative and fun way? I don't know. I don't own one.
I never had one. You're projecting, Gonzo.
Yeah.
As I said last week, mine's in the trash already, like a year and a half ago. So.
Yeah. I don't own one, so.
But if you want us to destroy them, you could send them to us, I guess. At least to me, while I'm rocking out to Appetite for Destruction, I could take a sledgehammer to them. I don't know. It could be like an art piece. What are you doing, David? David just got really white.
Yeah. Well, he's holding.
Oh my God.
I think I have ADD. I can't really sit still.
Oh man.
So and I like to distract people. I notice when you guys are talking, and I can notice the moment that you notice that I'm over here messing around. So it's kind of funny.
So we'll be replacing David with Christopher David Bailey.
Well, Bailey just said he's not sure. He said that we don't want him to dominate on the forum, I guess, on the.
Bailey already has his own show.
Is there a way to mute the question and answer portion for him? Where's the ban button for Chris?
What's going on Twitter?
You'll be on soon enough.
Okay, Con. Any other questions going on, or?
Yes, we've got another one. Speaking of soap, this is from Ruds. Speaking of soap, how many of each of you guys have in the den? I get frustrated if I surpass 25 soaps. Well, then I'm in a constant state of frustration then, if that's the case. 25. If Jason Rudman surpasses 25 soaps in his den, then he gets frustrated. Send them to me.
Yeah.
I'll help with your frustration.
So he's asking how many do we have? Basically.
How many do each of you guys have in the den?
Oh boy. I'll just kind of roughly off my top of my head. I've got maybe 40 actual pucks of soap, I guess, but I've got a bazillion samples, and I don't know.
That doesn't count.
Yeah.
That doesn't count. It's got to be proper, an entire.
Yeah, I don't know. I've 40 plus, maybe.
Counting
50.
it wrecks it.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't try to count it. Buster, do you have an idea?
Right now, I
he
probably
does.
have in my actual possession 50 or 60 soaps, but I've had over 100. I give a lot away when I feel like I don't want them anymore, or just somebody needs one. But yeah, I have a lot of soap.
David, how about you? How many soaps you got?
I'm upwards of about 50, somewhere around the 50 mark, and probably another about 20 or so samples that people have sent me of different products they want me to try out.
Marty, how about you?
I'm going to say 60, 65, including what I have coming in the mail. I'll know better at the Tombstone meetup because I'm bringing my whole den with me, so I'll have my full count then.
And this is kind of unfair to ask Douglas. I mean, he makes soap, so
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's like, how many do I have? Well, how many do I want? I make custom scents for myself. I mean, like, I make custom scents that I might only use twice and then end up giving it away.
Yeah, the Busta soap's been out for a year, but Douglas is the only one that's used it.
Busta, it's awesome.
I've used it. It smells fantastic.
It's 2.0.
Oh, thanks.
See, you hear the annoyance there. I don't have a soap.
I know. It still hurts.
But he has a deodorant. There is a deodorant. I know that Douglas has made a deodorant for.
I want to try that deodorant.
I want to make a deodorant for Busta.
At this point, Trumpers will make me a soap before anybody of you will.
Oh boy! All right.
There's a guy I'm friends with. He actually uses one soap straight through, and it'll last him like 6.5 weeks. Then he buys another soap to replace it. He's purely dedicated to that.
God bless him.
Yeah.
God bless that man.
That's
Here's
awesome.
the fun there.
That man is going to stay
That's what they
married.
used to do. That's not That's not the hobby. That's called shaving.
Yeah. So this is kind of interesting. On the G Plus, we have David Millette. I guess he's answering his question he asked earlier. He said the smell of pipe tobacco smoke and the ever-present spittoons spiked with the scent of tonics and aftershaves recall the golden age of barbershops. So I don't know if that's just a fact of what was going on in the 40s or 50s, but maybe you were right there, Douglas. He was asking, I guess, a question, but it was also
Trivia.
the answer to, like a trivia.
Oh wait, but that's not a soap. He's just talking about a barbershop scent.
Yeah.
Nah, that's confusing. Because I mean, his original question, where is it?
Well,
Yeah, it was about a soap. What was a soap being used back then? I don't know.
The Shave Tank asked, so when is Douglas doing a fully tanked soap?
I'm gonna call it Tanks a lot. When you visit in February, him and I are going to a wedding together.
Together as a couple.
Yeah. He could bring a date. I'm that date. And we'll be doing a special commemorative soap for that event.
Yeah, cool.
It's called Little Tommy Comes to America.
And then also, I don't know why I keep addressing you, but he's the one chatting a lot. It's actually a good question. Chris Bailey asked, does Douglas may want to mention the glorious Crown King soap that he is fondling? I'm assuming he's making lather mittens with.
Oh, him, not me. Yeah. I'm not fondling anything here, except this bottle.
Well, he was saying.
Oh my God.
He was saying maybe you want to mention your Crown King soap. He's saying it's pretty awesome.
Oh, well, thank you.
Want me to go get
Busta. The real test is Busta. Yeah, actually, go get it, Marty.
Oh, it's okay. I didn't get a sample like Bailey, so I don't know.
Yeah, we don't have the huge YouTube following like Bailey does, so he gets all the products first.
Exactly. It's Formula 3.0 though, Busta. So I'm hoping that it'll appeal to you.
I'm excited.
Marty got one when it was still top secret, but this is the Crown King line, which again, it was pretty much an idea just for a brush company. That was the brush company I wanted to start, and then I started building up products around it, and this is the first one, our first soap out the door.
And Marty's holding it up right there.
And that's 3.0, and I think
it's 3.0, and this was used today, and you can see me pushing on it. It is much harder. That's me putting a considerable amount of effort in there, and you can kind of see it's a much harder soap.
Wow. That was pretty awesome. I love hard soaps.
I think I am going to end up pouring it, though, into the jar as opposed to doing a puck like that.
I was going to PM you that exact idea because cleaning out the grooves in there today was quite a fiasco.
Yeah, well, some people, honestly, there are some people out there that will still use a puck in a mug or whatnot. They don't care for the jar. The jar's just, it's packaging that gets it to them, but they don't use it like we use it. But I'm going to end up pouring in there. I think it just, gets rid of like 3 steps and the whole cleanup process involved. So
yeah, Con, let's see if we have time for one more question.
Yes. Again, this is a question
Christopher
for
David
Douglas.
Bailey.
No, Christopher's not active on Twitter here in this instance. I mean, he's on Twitter, but he's not asking questions here. But a gentleman by the name of Giorgio Corrado is asking, will PAA ever come out with a real straight razor and not another Chevette?
And not another Chevette. Well, can I do both?
That'd be cool.
I don't know. I don't. If I could find someone to manufacture, I don't make them. If I was going to have them made in the United States, it'd be by an artisan. So that would make them very costly and expensive. See, the thing with PAA is I like to do stuff for noobs. I'm really a huge fan of the newbies out there, and so I'd like to keep stuff affordable. If it came to like printing a straight razor, that'd be a little more costly than I feel comfortable, offering. I think if I can find someone out there that'll do it for a good price, and I can sell it for a good price. But again, when someone's just hopping into the hobby, you don't want to spend too much on a straight razor, especially if you don't know if you're going to like it or not. And that's why gold dollars are so popular.
Yeah.
More than ever, since we now realize, hey, they actually work. So I can't compete with that, and I don't know if I really want to. There's other guys doing
Okay,
it.
while I've got you there, Douglas, we've got another question here. Remember, you can send us a tweet anytime, folks, at WS Roundtable. That's at WS Roundtable. What's this? This is for you, Douglas. What's this I hear about a commemorative soap for the ever-aging Tom Grimm?
Well, I didn't want to. I don't know. I'm working on that with another artist and soap maker, who's really he's just very non-committal. One day he says yes, the other day he says no. I don't know where I stand with him on this project. If he gives me the okay, I will go through with it. But
it's gonna smell like a mixture of musk and like
mothballs.
Good lord! Like,
Oh gosh.
musk and Bengay. It's gonna be odd.
And so it'll definitely be called Shout Out.
I like it.
Yeah, no, there's a whole concept around it, but I mean that again, it's just a concept. I can go any day. I'm just waiting for the yes, and he'll be making the soap, and I'll be making the aftershave. If gives you a little hint of who I could possibly be talking about.
I think I already know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Thanks for that question, Kenny Ingram. That was from Kenny Ingram.
All right.
Hey, Kenny. So we have 4 minutes left, Rico. Do we have any more questions aside from Chris Daly?
Yeah. Well, again, David Millette is just saying here, could it be that the rise of shaving forms, etc., represents a need for men to herd and socialize in barbershops?
Dude, you're hell-bent on barbershops today.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of think it's just the way technology has gone. It's just the way people interact and socialize. It's I don't know. We can hypothesize about this all day long. I don't know.
Newsflash, gentlemen. TSC has just entered the building. TSC is now on Twitter, and he says he must have that brim soap. Carry on.
The barbershop thing, though, I think the barbershop, I mean, there is a whole barbershop culture that we've lost.
Yeah.
No, well, actually, on that one, Douglas, it actually has been a conversation recently in the forums. I think it was on damnfineshave.com. I seen one recently, and also even on the Facebook group that it's a regional thing. There's some regions here in America that they're really losing their independently owned barbershops. There's a lot of chain salon / barbershops are opening up. Yeah. I, on the other hand, am privileged here in Southern California specifically. The barbershop culture is absolutely booming right now. There's so many competitions, and it's really become a very respectable trade here in Southern California, to where there's barbershops every other block in my neighborhood, and every single one of them are jam-packed with people.
Yeah. That's cool. No, there's some hip ones, blowing up every day. It's the new tattoo artist. What the tattoo artists were in the 90s, where everyone was doing tattoos, now everyone wants to be a barber, and I think that's really cool. Yeah. And I think that's growing out of the wet shaving community, and the wet shaving community is growing out of that. It's kind of growing at the same time, I think. I don't know who's responsible for what, but, so it's great to see that happen. But you're right. There are a lot of corporate places. I can't think of the name of it. It's not artist shaving. There's another one. Turkey or something. Turkey squirrel. I don't know. I don't know. There's some corporate chain, but it's like they sell products. They're everywhere. They have the straight razor shaves they offer. Someone was telling me, you should get your products from this place, and I was like, oh, cool. Is it a mom and pop shop? They're like, no, they're everywhere. And I was like, no, I don't want to be part of that. These big, monster corporations come into small towns and just put everyone else out of business.
Real quick on that razor comment about straight razors, Chevette, artisan, kind of deal. Forget the straight razor Chevette creative aspect. Somebody needs to get a vintage style gem made modern so I can be happy and have a brand new razor that uses the old school blade.
Is that from Tom Moore?
No, that's me.
That's from Marty.
No, that was Marty himself.
That's Marty strapped down and rambling.
Well, we've got another one from TSC here before we leave, and it's totally subjective. It says, who has the better dome, Con or Pappy?
Oh,
well, I'm going to say Con because his is au naturel. Mine is shaved that way.
Oh, I love it.
Wow, that is wrong on so many different levels. Yet I'm jealous.
Love you, Chris.
Well, happy 4th of July, guys.
We got to get Bailey on the show.
Yeah.
He was on the show more than us, I think.
Yeah, Yeah, poor Busta. Bailey. It's on the Busta show.
Thanks to our special
happens.
guest today,
Bailey
Christopher David
always
Bailey.
upends me, so it just happens all the time.
Well, we have almost reached unbelievably or not. We have reached an hour of talking about nothing but shaving and answering your guys' questions. Some of it was fun and just silly. Some of it was actually serious questions. Again, if you guys have any questions for us, you can tweet us at WS Roundtable, and we will try to get to your questions and answer those on the show. If we did not get to your question today, I apologize. We will try to get to those in future episodes. Also, again, if you're on the G Plus Live or YouTube, there should be a link somewhere on there that you can click, and it will take you to another page where you can do this. I'm sorry I keep explaining that, but it's G Plus does not seem to be very intuitive like we would like it to be. So we're still tweaking some things, and we really appreciate you guys coming out, spending your 4th of July with us, listening to us just chat about shaving and just random stuff. Really awesome. Con, where can gentlemen and people out there find you at, sir?
Well, as I said last week, I don't want to be found. I want to remain anonymous if I possibly can. I'd like to enjoy the week if I could.
Yeah.
At Shave the Man on Twitter, or you can send us an email if you like, con@shavetheman.com.au. But just I'm around.
Yeah, he's around.
Too much, I think. I need to disappear for a while.
David Gonzalez, where can guys find you at, sir?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and on YouTube under the moniker, So Sharp David, and also at SoSharpLimited.com.
Yeah, check those shirts out. They're really, really cool. I still need to get one, but yeah, Money Pass. There we go. Awesome. Marty Pape, where can gentlemen find you at, sir?
Pretty much everywhere is either Marty Pape or MPape78.
Alrighty. Douglas Smythe, where can guys find you at?
You can find me at howtogrowmustache.com, the man blog. You can also find me at the Cutting Edge Wet Shaving Podcast. I'd be Douglas at, now help me out here, Con. Douglas at Cutting
Edge Wet Shave Podcast.com.
You guys gotta do something about that damn email. Good God.
It's too long. It's too long.
Do is
It's longer than my surname.
Guys, I'm
You
talking.
bunch of windbags.
Douglas at mustacheandblade.com also. You can also find me in the How to Grow a Mustache gplus.com forum, which is How to Grow a Mustache gplus.com. I'm on Instagram, Crumbcatcher1. I am also on, where am I? I'm on Twitter, Crumb_catcher. Like long walks.
It's unbelievable. It's still going.
I gotta get going, Douglas. Hurry up.
I'm on a dating site currently, and I'm up. No,
Come on. All right. We
Sorry.
also want to thank our special guest today, Busta.
Bloomsta.
Where can guys
Love you, Busta.
People can find me. Just remember Shave Busta. Shave Busta Gmail on Facebook. It's Shave Busta. I've got a group on Facebook called Shave Busta. Go to shavebusta.com. It takes you to my YouTube channel. So it's just Shave Busta. And I want to say thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I know most of you, and I've met most of you personally. So you guys are awesome, and it was great being on the show.
Well, thank you, Busta. We really enjoyed having you here today. Like the Shave Tank just said, the show is way too short. I do have to agree. Even an hour is too short to be doing this kind of stuff. But as we go along, it'll get better and better. We really, again, thank you guys for coming out and watching on this 4th of July and celebrating with us. Hope you're having a good holiday. And if you wouldn't mind, subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is the Wet Shavers Round Table. Just Google that up into YouTube, and you should be able to find it. And we will be doing this again next week. And as always, you can tweet to us at WS Roundtable, and we'll try to get to your questions. Hope you guys are having an awesome 4th of July, and cheers.
High five.
Talk to you later.
For Chris Cullen.
Take care, folks. Happy
Bye,
4th.
bye Bailey.
Happy 4th of
Bye,
July.
Bailey.
Thank you all for listening. Thanks to all the vets. Thanks to everybody out there who's listening. Thank you to all you wet shavers. Thank you to Gillette. And